Hi, I'm Ben O'Loughlin, and I'm going to talk about the Alexander Technique, which, in my humble but nonetheless correct opinion, is the best kept secret in human performance. This woman knows something we don't know. We need to find out. Let's press on. So, how do we perform better at anything? Well, we have to combine physical, mental, and emotional skills to perform. In the Alexander Technique, we have an educational system that enables us to combine and coordinate these parts of ourselves better. So, in doing that, we improved motion, posture, mental health, self control, in fact, a lot of psychological and physical dimensions. Don't believe me? Believe this guy, John Cleese. He said it's very helpful in his work. Things happen without you trying, and he got to be very light and relaxed. Now, those are not statements just about acting, but just life in general. Those are some of the benefits that certainly he achieved, and they're not uncommon. Benefits of Alexander Technique. Well, who's this guy? We'll find out in a minute. We can study AT for these reasons. We can enhance our performance, posture, breathing, coordination, good for musicians, athletes, public speakers, but also anyone with a body can benefit from those. Alleviate chronic pain. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But things such as backache, neck tension, repetitive strain injuries, in fact, pretty much any neuromuscular ailment, it's worth a crack. It's helped a lot of people with quite a diverse range of neuromuscular conditions. Stress reduction, so we can promote relaxation, mental clarity, and emotional balance. Again, because we're addressing a psychophysical unity here between thoughts, body, mind, and spirit, essentially. Um, but practically speaking, I mean, it's a woo-woo sort of body, mind, and spirit. But Roald Dahl recommended it enthusiastically to anyone who had these pains, based on his experience. Roald Dahl, you may know him as the one of the heavyweight champions of children's literature. I mean, come on, the guy wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This guy, you may not know, Nicholas Tinbergen. He got the Nobel Prize for Medicine and Physiology, and in his acceptance speech, in front of all of his peers, the who's who of science and medicine, he talked about the originator of the Alexander Technique, F.M. Alexander, and he said that the story of his intelligence and persistence and perceptiveness is a real epic of medical research and practice. You don't really hear about him though, do you? In terms of his own experience, you can pause the video, but he got a lot of different benefits out of it, and those are not uncommon. Robertson Davies, this chap here, celebrated Canadian writer. He talked about it as a skill for life because our bodies and needs change throughout life. The AT equips us with skills to adapt your movement to these changes. So as you get older, you may have less muscle mass, less strength, but you're able to maintain high quality of movement and support in the body and experience a greater physical ease and strength as you age. Particularly as new activities or stress or injuries can disrupt our coordination, this technique helps us adapt, stay balanced, and really live our best life in the face of the sorts of things that happen to us. Robertson said the Alexander Technique keeps the body alive at ages when many people have resigned themselves to irreversible decline. Aldous Huxley said the same thing in not so many words as well. So why does nobody talk about AT? This guy, Hugh Jackman, actually has a few words to say about it, but it's not something you hear very much about. Why? You might think it'd be better known, given its incredible effectiveness for posture, muscle tension, stress, and well-being. In fact, it is taught at many elite performing arts schools, Royal College of Music, Juilliard School, Boston Conservatory of Music, but it's actually not very widely known outside the performing arts, despite the fact that it's effective not only for performing arts conditions, but for many ailments. One of the reasons I believe it's not well known is because it's internal work. It's really, everything happens pretty much between your ears. It's not like the external work of Pilates, where you can go and see people dressed in lycra and spandex, doing exercises. Stretching, similar yoga, some forms of yoga are really internal work, but certainly massage, physiotherapy, surgery, some of these things where people are doing things to you, and that's good, and all fantastic things to do, and to have done to you if circumstances demand them. But this is a different thing that you do internally. It's an educational process that you learn. And as such, it's not very visible. And this guy, Hugh Jackman, you wouldn't know. Maybe from the gleam, maybe from the gleam in his eye. A few scientific studies are out there, not many, but they show it's actually highly effective, and particularly in the context of avoiding surgery for back conditions. Many doctors actually know about it, but it's actually been only available to the few. Hugh here says, for people trained in the Alexander Technique, it's usually a kind of a secret base that they work from, their centre. And it's not talked about much, but it's a rich inner resource. So who am I, and why do I care? So at the age of 22, I'm 51 at the time of recording this, I was suffering from chronic neck and back tension and pain. That's quite young to be dealing with those issues. I was getting 3 or 4 days a week of tension headaches. And I should say that I tried a lot of things. I tried physiotherapy, I went to the doctor, I took medication, I had massage, I had acupuncture. None of it did worth a damn. Well, the pills actually stopped the headaches as long as I took them, but didn't solve the underlying problem. Went and saw an AT teacher. The very first lesson, I was like, oh, this person understands what's going on, and I understood much better straight away, and immediately I was able to start impacting on my condition. So years later, still pain-free, wonderful, been transformational. I have no idea what sort of shape I'd be in now if I hadn't come across it. So now I'm a qualified teacher of the Alexander Technique, and I help people on a daily basis overcome pain and tension in their own lives. And I want to make Alexander Technique available to people outside the inner circle of performing artists, because it can and it does benefit anyone. So how would you study with me? Well, if you want greater ease and freedom from pain, if anything in this presentation resonates with you and you want to have a chat about it, please go ahead, get in touch. Here are my contact details. I teach in person in Canberra, Australia, but I teach online to students around the globe. Here's a few experiences from someone that studied with me, who was experiencing headaches on an almost daily basis. That was really me. That was my story. And like me, they'd tried acupuncture, remedial massage. Panadol and Nurofen weren't helping her much. They were okay for me as long as I took them. But by the end of the lessons that she had, her tension headaches had completely stopped, and she'd felt the reduction in tension. The change to her headaches continued months after stopping lessons, because she had learned how not to create those headaches in the first place, and life was so much easier for her. She found it was helpful to understand the subtle shifts in posture, and she found I was clearly knowledgeable and passionate. Well, I am passionate. Knowledgeable, you can make up your own mind about. But this is a woman, BG, psychologist in her day-to-day life, and was finding that it was really interfering with her ability to help people. Another chap here, ML, professional musician, said it fixed up his tension mobility problems very easily and in a great environment. He's a drummer. He was unable to play an entire gig because his hip was so bad, but he managed to sort that out for himself with some guidance in not too long a time. Must try if you rely on your body and well-being for your living. And I think we all actually rely, whether we're a performing artist or actually doing something physically with our body, or we're a carpenter, or we're a musician or an actor or an athlete, or even if we just work at a desk or on the phones, whatever, we still actually rely on our body not to have headaches, not to have tension, not to have pain for our living. So that was his experience. Again, thanks for tuning in today. And again, get in touch if you think I can help. And onwards.